Anyway, any questions after that? No. I've been photographing Bruce since 1999, and what happened was that book of photographs that's up in the front called Discovery Inn. I had made that book with a friend of mine, and I thought, you know, it's about time I try and send this book to Bruce Springsteen, because, you know, I'm from Toms River, New Jersey. I grew up on the shore, and, you know, I figured if he needs a photographer, you know, I can, you know, send this book over and see if he'll give me a call. So I did. I sent the book to his art director, a woman named Sandy Churon, and she happened to get the FedEx package as she was going to Fort Monmouth for the first round of rehearsals when the band got back together in 1999, you know, when Bruce got the E Street Band back together. And so I sent the book, and I told my folks and all my friends, I said, you know, I sent my book over. I'm sure Bruce is going to be calling me any minute now to invite me to take some photos, you know, in Asbury. I was thinking Asbury Park, this is going to be great. So I sent the book over, and, you know, no phone call, and I was waiting and waiting, and I finally got this phone call from Jeff Rosen, who works with Bob Dylan. And I had worked with Bob's publicist, a guy named Larry Jenkins, with John Mellencamp. And he had said to me at the time, he said, oh, you know, I think Bob Dylan would really like your style of photography, you know. And I said, come on, don't tease me like that. And he said, no, I want to mention it to him. So, long story short, I get this phone call, not from Bruce Springsteen's camp, but from Jeff Rosen, Bob Dylan's manager. And he said, Larry Jenkins says you're the man to photograph Bob Dylan. And I said, of course, Larry's a genius, and you should listen to everything that he says. And that, so we arranged it, and I was literally flipping out. I was just like laying on the floor in my studio, really happy. And I had a meeting that evening, and to meet with MTV about this project. And so I went over there, and I told them the whole story. You know, oh, I sent it to Bruce, and that wasn't Bruce, but, you know, Dylan, and I was like all excited about it. And while I was in this meeting, my phone rings, and it's this Sandy Churon, and she said, hey, are you Danny? I said, yeah. She said, well, this is Sandy, you know, I appreciate you sending the book, and I just, you know, took it over to Bruce. He's doing rehearsals with the band, and he wants to know if you'll come down on Thursday to Fort Monmouth and take some photographs for the new tour. And I was literally speechless. I was like, and everybody who I was in the room with, they said, something like, you know, like, don't tell me that was the Bruce Springsteen phone call. And I was like, it was the Bruce Springsteen phone call. So March 16th is now a national holiday in my life. And so that's how it sort of began. And I do remember putting on Greetings from Asbury Park and driving down the turnpike with my assistant, and you know, trying not to cry. You know. So that was how it started, and I was lucky enough to be, you know, at the rehearsal in Fort Monmouth and spend a couple of days photographing. And from that point on, I just always ended up, you know, being invited to the shows or the rehearsals to work on the tour books, and I ended up doing the photographs for The Rising. I did the photographs for, I did The Rising, I did the Devils and Dust film that was on the dual disc program, which was a highlight for me, being in that little farmhouse with a couple of film cameras and Bruce playing those songs for us was really, really special. I did that. I did the Seeger sessions, all the photos for Seeger sessions for the record in the tour book. I did the photographs for Magic, and the new record, also Working on a Dream, as well as, you know, the tour books and some of the photographs that they used for the packaging and that. So that's you know, I've been really fortunate to be a part of it, and really excited. And I would say about Bruce and his love of photography, I would say that he is always really involved in the selection of the photographs, and I do use a bunch of different funky cameras, and he always seems to go for, he often will go for the funkier images and stuff that most people would stray away from. And that always makes me really happy. A good example is that picture back there, which I took with like an old 50s, you know, plastic camera with a plastic lens. And it just happens to be one that I really like, and he used it on the, I think it was on the cover of the Devils and Dust tour book, or something in the Devils and Dust tour book. I guess, you know, I guess it's easier for me to speak from here. I would like to walk around and look at the photographs with everybody, but I guess I could do that. But I wanted to point out that a lot of these photographs here have not been published before. So my buddy Tim and I, who's around here somewhere, he's probably smoking a cigarette out back. Is he? He's on the phone. Oh my God, he's not on the phone and he's not smoking a cigarette. Okay, so we were riding up the Parkway, going up to Manhattan, and we were talking about the fact that it was Bruce's birthday and how cool Asbury Park is these days, and you know, really how well it's coming up and that. And we were like, you know what? You know, a gallery show in Asbury Park around Bruce's birthday would be so cool. And then we started to think about it. We knew the symposium was going to be in town, and we just thought it'd be a great idea. So we came down here and we walked up and down the boardwalk, and there was nothing available. There was a couple of places that were under construction, but nothing, everything was rented, which we thought was really cool. And I was like, I'm only going to do it on the boardwalk, and that would be the only spot. I'm not going to do it in town. I want to be on the boardwalk. I want to look at the waves. I want to see the boardwalk. So the one thing we did notice that the lights were off in here, and it was empty, and there was a couple of like yoga mats and like those big exercise balls in here. And we said, well, let's look around. So, you know, long story short is we found that it was a seasonal space, and not only was it available, but it had track lighting and stuff, and they had done a gallery in here once before. So, so in 2 weeks, we came up with the idea, we found the space, I chose the images, and we printed them, framed them, cleaned the place out, and put everything up on the walls. And so it was really fun, and it was good that I didn't have a lot of time, because if I had a lot of time, I would have gone crazy looking through all the images that I have of Bruce. But one way of narrowing it down was only New Jersey. So we were like, okay, it's only going to be in New Jersey. The photos I've taken in New Jersey, I'm not going to, you know, New York or Atlanta or, you know, overseas or whatever. So that made it easier. Although there are some of my favorites that were taken elsewhere that are not here. But it was fun going in and, you know, just looking through the images. And there always have been these images that I had seen that hadn't been used in any of the other, you know, tour books or packaging or things like that, and ones that I've always wanted to print. And so this was a great opportunity to do that. And I would say that aside from the picture I pointed out before and the one of the big aluminum print, all these photographs here haven't been published before. Although the one to the far right with the Seeker Sessions band, I think there's a variation of that in the tour book. And then these over here, this one, these have not been published before, and I think there's like a whole load of them down that end that haven't been seen anywhere. So I thought that was cool as well. I thought it was very, you know, exciting for me to see them printed, you know, to print them up and to see how they look and to, you know, to put them out here and knowing that, you know, it's not the same old stuff that everybody has seen. So.